What's going on, gang? Red Channels here, back at you with another video. This time we will be discussing the strange Elon Trump beef. What's been going on with this? Why are they feuding? What's it over? What's it about? What's the significance? This whole event feels very out of nowhere, abrupt, and strange. Um, you suddenly have Elon accusing Trump of being in the Epstein files and then retracting it within a day. He deleted that tweet. He said it for a day and then he withdrew it. An apparent feud between Trump and Elon is something that the left would obviously want to exploit, or at least attempt to exploit. But then it also sort of breaks the narrative that the left had previously been going with, which is that Trump is now owned by Elon Musk. I don't know about you guys, but something about this whole experience just feels very surreal. Like there is a CNN article, which is a timeline of their Twitter feud. I don't know. It just feels very bizarre. It's a bizarre accusation on Musk's part, and it's also like, why would you even say that if you're not going to provide any kind of proof? The accusation also comes after a very public disagreement between the two of them, where Musk wanted a more libertarian agenda, and I guess there is a bill that's going through Congress that he didn't feel Trump had made favorable enough to him. So it also kind of seems like Elon has a very obvious motive to lie. The tweet could also be Elon's way of just expressing his annoyance with Trump just for not cooperating. So, Trump doesn't work with him in the way that he wants. So he's like, all right, I'm just going to say something inflammatory, and this will cause a little bit of friction within your base, or there'll be all this buzz about it, and it'll be an annoyance to you. So next time, work with me a little bit more. No one is really in Elon's corner, even on his own site, even on Twitter. There's just tons of people replying to him saying basically what's going on and why are you doing this? I don't think it's a good idea. But I also just can't envision a scenario where Elon suddenly wrests MAGA from out from under Trump. Elon suddenly becomes the leader of MAGA. Um, I don't see that happening either. And it is true that before Elon, Twitter was essentially a quasi private, but actually probably state funded opinion shaping apparatus. There were the blue check marks who became blue check marks because they were forward thinking, progressive people. And then there was the rest of us plebs. You couldn't just uh, buy your check mark in those days. The site was just totally dominated by these liberal journalists, and they did exert considerable cultural influence on the US. And I do believe that one of the reasons Trump was able to win was because Elon actually did shift the Overton window rightward. A lot of the stories you've seen circulating over the past couple of months would not would not have been allowed to circulate had Twitter remained what it was before Elon. But Elon has tons of critics on the right, bro. Like I don't even really feel strongly one way or the other about the guy, to be honest. I honestly don't care all that much about him. I don't really believe in or care about promoting like space travel and exploring the stars and going to Mars and stuff like that. That's just not a vision of humanity that really resonates with me. And people are some people have for a while been justifiably concerned because he does seem to have some pretty clear transhumanist leanings with the whole Neuralink thing. Also, on another note, he does have shall we say, bit of a non-traditional lifestyle that like rubs all women in the country the wrong way, like 90% of them. I haven't met like a single woman who has something positive to say about Elon Musk in that regard. And I live in like a very rural area too. Every woman hates him. And for me personally, I've never really cared that he has like 14 kids with a bunch of different women. It certainly signaled to me that something is fraying about the fabric of our culture, the fact that he's behaving this way so publicly. I mean, he is also literally the richest man on the planet. So, in a sense, it's just kind of the Wrangler nun. It's the way of men. Things like wealth and military might confer a man status, thereby giving him access to more women. And it doesn't matter whether you think this is a eugenic or dysgenic phenomenon, whether it's just or unjust, it's just something that's inevitably going to kind of happen. Decades ago, even when long term monogamy was far more normative, there were still often instances of men having second secret families or mistresses. If you were poor and did this, it was likely because you had certain antisocial personality traits that some women are attracted to. If you were rich and did it, it was because you had the wealth to sustain multiple relationships, or in the case of someone like Tony Soprano, a little bit of both. And if you still don't get what I'm digging at, from boyhood, every boy who is not one of the fastest runners on the playground has briefly experienced this power dynamic. And don't get me wrong, it's not lost on me that behaving this way, the way Elon is with having all of these different women have his kids, is a complete affront to traditional Western social norms. So I totally get why a lot of people are uncomfortable with the fact that he's doing stuff like this. I also understand there's a small but notable pro-natalist movement who advocates for stuff like this that Elon is vaguely associated with. I don't think this is going to be very persuasive to ordinary people, but it is true that in a very fundamental way, the future will belong to whatever group of people is able to outbreed the others. Anyway, Elon's popularity and credibility will be damaged if he keeps this up and doesn't deliver on any files. If he is actually not lying and has something, it's difficult to tell what the release of this material, what the impact of the release of this material will be without precisely knowing what its contents are, obviously. Trump also could do a lot of damage to Tesla. He could eliminate subsidies and contracts and give them to Ford instead. He could also put tariffs on Chinese made parts for Teslas. Trump could also begin attacking H-1Bs. So there are a lot of ways for Trump to retaliate. And I also think because MAGA is such a personality driven movement that Elon really can't replace Trump. He can't get rid of him. He's not bigger than him in that sense. Also, I think that no amount of money can really beat Trump's uncanny ability to inspire loyalty in his core base. Elon just doesn't have that cachet, that swagger, that panache, that je ne sais quoi, that level of savoir faire, that X factor, we call it in sales, that Trump does. Also, call me a little conspiratorially minded, but I do find it kind of interesting that this feud between Trump and Musk is coming up right as there are some very large anti-ICE riots down in LA.
That's America. Go back to the other side of the ocean. Go back to the other side of the ocean. Go back to the other side of the ocean. Go back to the other side of the ocean.
Police are now pepper spraying. They're throwing stuff out here in the streets. They're blocking the FBI from coming through.
Also, it remains unclear to me how effective the left will be at lionizing these protesters if they're successfully able to recast this situation into a sort of George Floyd civil rights-esque struggle. I don't know. I mean, there's a danger in that, but then also, this is a very eye-opening moment because in these protests, a lot of people were seeing non-American flags. Also, apparently, Maxine Waters has had the door to an ICE facility slammed in her face, which is pretty funny.
No, I want you to... Hello. Congresswoman Waters, I just came to use my congressional authority to check on David.
Ma'am, our lobby is secure right now to all visitors.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public appeal.
I need to get in.
What are you hoping to do, Congresswoman?
I just want to see David Werta. Right.
Would a congressperson normally be able to enter the...
Normally, yes.
What is happening here?
Well, there were some of the authorities, I don't know who they were, and I'm trying to get in to see David Werta, who they have arrested. He is the head of SEIU local union here. I don't know why he was targeted. I don't know what they're doing with him. I don't know whether they're going to deport him. I want to report back to my caucus about what's happening, but they have...
Optically, I still think this is going to be a bit of a tough sell for Democrats because these people are here illegally. There's just no way around that. It's so interesting because right now it really feels like we're witnessing a meltdown in the left's attempt to deconstruct American citizenship, the concept of American citizenship itself. Here is a video of a store owner in LA who apparently attempted to interfere with the activities of the ICE agents by locking them in the store.
Criminal search warrant signed and approved by a federal judge. You are being pursuant to federal law for officers carrying out our official and home duties. If you do not observe immediately, you may be arrested and charged with a crime. Federal law enforcement officer lawful criminal search warrant was signed and approved by a federal judge. You are impeding on our duties as federal law enforcement officer, carrying out our official and lawful duties. First immediately, you may be arrested and charged with crime. You are federal law enforcement officer executing lawful criminal search warrant that was signed and approved by a federal judge. You are impeding on our duties as federal law enforcement officers, preventing us...
Bro, they locked the ice inside the business.
arrested and charged with crime.
Seems like things are getting kind of wild, but I have still more or less suspended my judgment on how I think this whole affair will play out. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a like, share, subscribe, whatever. Please leave a comment. I love leaving your comments. What are your thoughts? Am I wrong? Am I right? How do you feel about the situation? Let me know. Shout out to my 3 patrons, Tara, General Jack Ripper, and William, of course. And Red Channels will catch you in the next one.
A person like me, smoke green jar, recently.